Today, we're going to talk about testosterone. And one of the things I want to mention is that steak and eggs is a great way to enhance testosterone. Now, before I tell you why, I want to mention this concept of testosterone decreasing with age. There's some new research that states that that's actually not a fact. Low testosterone is usually caused by something else, but age is not a significant factor. Now, this is some good news because if you understand both sides, what will destroy testosterone and what will enhance it, you can be in good shape because you can actually control your own testosterone. So don't buy into the whole thing, well, you're getting old and there's really nothing you can do. So let's just dive right in. So why steak and eggs? How can that possibly increase your testosterone? Well, number one, red meat is loaded with zinc, and zinc is probably the number one trace mineral that will enhance your testosterone. In fact, those people who have a zinc deficiency get this condition called hypogonadism, and that is just a zinc deficiency. So you'd want to consume food high in zinc, and guess what? Red meat is at the top of the list. Now, what about eggs? Well, the egg yolk, specifically the cholesterol in the egg yolk, as well as the cholesterol in the fatty steak, are precursors for making testosterone. Testosterone is a sex hormone, and it comes from, you guessed it, cholesterol. So anything that lowers cholesterol will lower testosterone. And the other key nutrient to enhance testosterone is vitamin D, and egg yolks have vitamin D. Now, if you're going to do steak and eggs, there's a couple things you need to know. Number one, you don't want to do lean steak. You want the fattier steak. You can also do hamburger, and don't just do the egg whites, do the yolk and the whites together. And you want to move this breakfast to lunch. You don't want it for breakfast because eating a breakfast and a lunch and a dinner adds too many meals during a given day. That's going to increase insulin. And that leads to the other reason why steak and eggs is a really good meal for testosterone. Steak and eggs is low carb. And of course, I'm recommending not to add the toast or the fries or the cup potatoes or the orange juice. You want a low carb meal. Insulin resistance lowers testosterone. Now, it is true that insulin can enhance testosterone. But what happens when you start to increase insulin over a period of time, insulin becomes dysfunctional. It's called insulin resistant. So it doesn't work anymore. So it lowers your testosterone. Now, I'm going to continue on with the things that will enhance testosterone, but I just want to let you know, if we compare those things that destroy testosterone to those things that enhance testosterone, the destroy list is way more important to focus on because those are the things that suppress testosterone. And if you have something suppressing testosterone, I don't care how many things you add to try to enhance testosterone, it's not going to work. So let's first go through the enhance list, and then we'll flip over to the destroy list. All right, number two, exercise. Exercise will definitely increase testosterone. Plus, it'll increase other hormones too. Growth hormone, IGF, glucagon. These are all fat-burning hormones. All right, number three, zinc. I already mentioned that with red meat, but oysters are even higher than red meat. Just 3 ounces of oysters will give you about 300% of what your requirements are for zinc. Zinc is in organ meats, it's in red meat, any type of red meat, and it's also in nuts, especially pistachios. All right, number 4, asparagus. Now, what's in asparagus that can increase your testosterone? Well, it's been known to not only increase testosterone, but it can increase sperm count. So it's really good for fertility. Asparagus is also good for the kidney, and having a healthy kidney is essential for having healthy testosterone. And the same goes with the liver as well. And asparagus is loaded with vitamin E, and vitamin E is considered a fertility vitamin. It can not only enhance testosterone, but it can also increase other sex hormones as well. All right, number 5. There's a neurotransmitter called dopamine that gives you a pleasure sensation that has the capacity to influence and trigger testosterone. So testosterone can increase dopamine, and dopamine can increase testosterone. And one really good way to increase dopamine is through dark chocolate. Of course, the low-carb dark chocolate. Just make sure if you're going to consume chocolate, have it in the beginning part of the day, maybe at your lunch, not at night, because it can interfere with your sleep. All right, number 6, truffles, okay? Truffles have naturally occurring testosterone, so we can add that to the list. And then we have saffron. Saffron is probably one of the most expensive spices, but it's considered an aphrodisiac. It increases testosterone and libido. All right, now that we have that data, let's talk about what can destroy testosterone. This list is way, way more important to focus on. Number one, you guessed it, sugar and refined carbohydrates will greatly suppress testosterone, probably more than anything else. Why? Because it develops into insulin resistance. So what does that mean? It means that you need to be on a low-carb ketogenic plan if you want to increase your testosterone. If you're consuming a lot of carbs, yet you're taking all these supplements to try to boost your testosterone and you're exercising, you're wasting your time. All right, number two, statins. Statins inhibit cholesterol, the precursor that is required to make testosterone and other hormones. And I'm not telling you to get off your statins. I'm just giving you the data so you can bring that up with your doctor. All right, 2.5, which is actually not listed here, but that would be alcohol, especially beer, will really shut down your testosterone and cause you to create more estrogen. In fact, estrogen comes from testosterone. So the beer and alcohol will accelerate the process. I'm sorry to have to break that to you. All right, number three, stress. Cortisol, that's a stress hormone. That will shut down testosterone very fast as well. There are a million things you can do to counter stress. I will put those links down below if you haven't seen my videos already. And one of the things to counter stress would be exercise, long walks. And if you combine long walks with high intense interval training, I think you'll be in good shape as far as exercise goes. All right, number four, poor sleep. This is another killer of testosterone and libido. If you're not sleeping, if you have sleep apnea, it's going to really mess up your hormones. I have a lot of videos on sleep. I put the links down below. All right, number five, MSG, monosodium glutamate, also known as modified food starch. You should start reading ingredients and start avoiding it. Did you realize that the MSG in canned soup is so high that it's equivalent to 10 bags of Doritos? MSG is that chemical that makes food taste way better than it is. And it's loaded in all the fast foods and all the processed foods. So definitely need to avoid that. All right, next one is soy and soy derivatives like soy protein isolates, soy protein powder. I mean, if you look at some of the ingredients, you'd be shocked to find out how much soy is already in your diet. Salad dressings, protein bars, diet shakes, you name it. Soy will enhance estrogen and not even the estrogen that you really want. In fact, in women, it can enhance the plant-based weaker estrogen and then block their own estrogen from getting in the receptor. And so they end up with this estrogen deficiency, which creates a whole series of issues. So even though we're increasing estrogen, we're actually decreasing their own estrogen. All right, number seven, microwave popcorn. There's a certain chemical in the bag. It's called PFAS that is an endocrine disruptor. An endocrine disruptor is anything in the environment that mimics estrogen and destroys your endocrine system. And there's a lot of things out there. This is one of them. Just avoid it. And of course, popcorn is not on the list anyway. So, all right, number eight, being fat will increase your testosterone. When you have more fat, you have more of this enzyme called aromatase. And what aromatase does is it converts your testosterone into estrogen at a mad rate. So the more fat you have in your body, the more estrogen you're going to have, the less testosterone you're going to have. But the good news is if you're on a low-carb diet, you can lose all that fat. All right, next one on the list is aspartame and diet sodas. This interferes with brain chemicals that then can lower testosterone. You see, testosterone is really controlled by something in your brain. And so a lot of people are focused on the testicles, the adrenals that make testosterone, but really it's a reflection of the hypothalamus and pituitary. That's like the master glands that are controlling all your testosterone. So anything going on with your brain, let's say you have Alzheimer's, or let's say you're getting dementia or any type of neurodegeneration, is going to affect testosterone. So this is another really good benefit of going on a low-carb diet. You generate ketones that help the brain. Well, you also help the pituitary and the hypothalamus, which directly help the hormones that it controls. And testosterone is at the top of the list. All right, and the last one on the list is the Water bottles that are made out of plastic. There's certain things in that plastic, specifically BPA, which act as an endocrine disruptor and can increase your estrogen. So either get a filter or use glass bottles like this right here. Anyway, I wanted to give you some additional information that goes beyond just steak and eggs to increase your testosterone. Now, if you have not seen my video on the benefits of eggs, you might want to check that one out. I put it right here.